For 2019, in order to reduce downforce and make the aerodynamics a little less sensitive to following another car, the big changes came at the front of the car. First, the front wing got simplified significantly. You would see all the end plates became far simpler and in terms of geometry, more or less prescribed, highly constrained. The wing became a bit wider, such that it's a bit easier to control the airflow going around the front tire. The other bit which got modified were on the front brake duct. Essentially, in the previous years, teams had developed ways to blow airflow through the axle, which we call the blown hubs, and that was quite powerful to generate outwash, but again, was quite sensitive when you would follow someone. Then the barge board themselves got reduced in height. Alongside these changes at the front of the car, there was also a change at the rear of the car. The rear wing got to be higher, a bit wider. But the intention for that was literally for the drivers to be able to see what's happening behind them, which again affected their ability to race other cars. Because it's fair to say, if we have freedom in aerodynamics, we design the mirrors for aerodynamic performance, not necessarily for the driver to see. And in the previous set of regulations, it was obvious the best location for the mirror in terms of performance was somewhere when the driver looked in the mirror, he would see his rear wing. He would see nothing else. Also in 2019, there was another change on the tires where purely modified the thickness of the tread just to make the tire a little more resistant to overheating. Because in 2018, there were quite a few races which were fairly high energy. You would see tires blistering quite a lot. So this new tire for 2019 looked again quite benign, just very small reduction in thickness, but it gave large differences in how the tire behaved thermally. So then teams had to redevelop quite a lot all the tire management tools in the car, mostly speaking the front and rear brake ducts. So this kept being more and more of a challenge for the teams just to maintain the tire in the optimum temperature window. In 2018, we had a set of regulations trying to back off the amount of downforce the cars were carrying through simplifying the aerodynamics. But really, when we got to the end of 2019, through development, we still had faster cars than the year before. There was this ever-growing downforce level these cars would generate. The more you would learn how best to extract performance, how to optimize all your devices, it seemed like the potential was always greater and greater the more you learned. So for 2020, nothing really changed. The cars remained very much consistent, the regulations remained consistent because there was the big change of regulations planned for 2021 with the new ground effect cars, or the research being done upstream. It was mostly about turning the wheel of development as fast as you could, getting more extreme with the designs, more extreme with some details. And in 2020, we saw the fastest cars these regulations would bring. Then, with the COVID coming among us, the new regulations got delayed by 1 year. By delaying the regulations by 1 more year, we had to find a way such that the teams would not have to redesign a complete new car. The downforce would genuinely be reduced to make sure the tires remain in the normal operating window. And to try and contain developments, there was also a significant chassis freeze for 2021, which came along the lines of a new token system. For a few areas of the cars, got assigned a sort of token price, and each team would have 2 tokens to spend. As a team, you had to decide on which end of the car you would spend your 2 tokens. the front or the back, being fully aware the other end would be identical to 2020. And then in parallel came the final definition of what the aerodynamic regulation would change. And it came as a significant simplification of the floor edge. The floor ahead of the rear tires became a bit narrower, and all the complex flow management features like fences and gills which we had developed, all this had to go away. In itself, the change of floor width ahead of the rear tires looked fairly benign, but when you look at what it did to the aerodynamics of the car, it was very significant. We had spent years developing all the details ahead of the tire to manage the airflow around the rear tires and make sure the diffuser is in the best possible conditions to perform. With the floor trim, we also had a small reduction on a span of the winglets attached to the rear brake duct. This had a fair effect in itself, but not as dramatic as the floor trim. So looking back at this generation of cars from 2017 to 2021, it seems like we may have reached a very high level of performance, a very high level of downforce, but also a very high level of complexity. These cars we had in 2021, but especially 2020, were incredibly fast, incredibly exciting from an engineering point of view, but I can also see why for the drivers it was a bit frustrating when you follow someone or you arrive behind someone, you know you're faster because you've got better tires or you're a better driver, and you just cannot overtake just because the car is too sensitive and it does not allow you to get closer. So this was the clear requirement for the new 2022 generation of cars. Making the cars a bit simpler, a bit more compliant from the driver's perspective, to be able to race closer, to not suffer from so much aerodynamic loss behind another car, was the clear intention for 2022. I think the concept is proving very different aerodynamically. It has very different characteristics, and I think for everyone involved in designing these cars, I think the future challenges are quite exciting.
It's an IMOCA, so a race boat made specifically to race around the world in the Vendée Globe and in the ocean race. There are no other boats made for that, or very few other types of boats made for this purpose.
So things with the IMOCA 60s is their development class. We've got a basic set of rules, but there's a lot of unique kind of design and features that we can play with, and a lot of technology on the boat. And there's thousands of custom pieces around the boat that have to be designed. So it's taken about 35,000 hours of design work and 45,000 hours of actual manufacturing and construction of the boat. So it's been a massive effort from the team the last few weeks. We've had 40, 50 guys working around the clock 24/7 for the last month or so.
My feeling is that there's very little contradiction between an ocean race concept and the Vendée Globe. The crew number for the ocean race is 4 sailors and a media man, and typically IMOCA is designed for minimum 2 people. It's actually quite achievable to combine these 2 races into one boat concept, and this boat has been primarily designed for the Vendée Globe, but with the idea to have space here, so when I sail solo I can also sleep next to the winch, next to all the ropes, in the middle of the action, where when we sail as a crew, people can then sit on that bench and use the same space. The mast sits a little bit inside the deck. The boom is very flush with the cockpit, with the cockpit roof. This part here with the windows is what we call the cockpit, is where we do all the maneuvers. We have there a tiller, we have winch, the winches are there, all the ropes. One idea was to have a proper seaworthy boat with the freeboard, with a bow that is not too much inverted, like we see it on some IMOCAs, that the bow goes up and then in. It has rather flat sides in the front, and it's a pretty high bow.
We've gone for a very scow bow shaped boat, very rounded in the hull, and the idea with these kind of shapes of boats is to really deal with kind of Southern Ocean and extreme conditions, dealing with bigger waves and bigger winds. So that's kind of the main feature and the kind of newer shape that we've got with our IMOCA 60. But as well as that, we've really tried to put sensors on absolutely everything on the boat to work out, what's actually going on.
We have plenty of sensor. We have also plenty of fiber optic. When I mean sensor, I mean load sensor, to make sure that we use properly the boat and we are not going to break everything, like the mast or a foil or the hull or something like that. And then it's a big work on land to analyze this data.
With the foils and with the flying of the boats now, there's so much load, so much extra strains going through the boat.
These foils have been designed with VPLP, both structurally and as well as from the shape point of view. And they call it Chistera foil. We have seen Dali foils and L foils and different shapes, so C foils on some boats. So these they call Chistera, which is basically a cricket thing. And so inside the boat it curves like this, or on this side like this. It means when we lower the foil, the tip will come down, and therefore we can play with different modes of using this foil, with kind of more canned down, with the flatter foil that gives more lift, or with a kind of more V foil in the water that hopefully then regulates itself for more stable flight. We will cover parts of the solar panels with the mainsail, but they will produce energy also even if they're not exposed to direct sunlight. They are much more efficient solar panels than we had on the previous boat. It's the same manufacturer, Solbian. And a lot of thought has gone into this. So this is our primary energy source. When we do very long ocean passages, we can actually consume energy without being constrained by the weight of fuel. If we think of the long leg we're going to do in the ocean race from Cape Town to Itajai, there would be a large quantity of fuel, and the fuel would be much heavier than these solar panels. So we need that for the fiber optics, for the computers, for cameras. We need more and more on these boats. We have like 7 or 8 cameras on the boat. There are a few cameras that are dedicated just to drive the boat, to control the boat, kind of technical cameras, and then there are media cameras. I would say the camera up here under the radar, that is more a media camera. That's a camera that allows a wide-angle view onto the bow, or when the mast is turned. This is a rotating mast, so there can be a wide-angle view onto the deck when we are working here, or when kind of water flushes over the deck. Then we have other cameras that just purely look into the sails, into a specific angle into the sails, some in the stern, one in the foredeck that looks vertically up. We have also a camera in the stern that looks down onto the kind of hydro generators and the rudders, so that, because from the cockpit I can't see those systems, and we want to be sure at all times that the rudders are nicely in position, nicely hooked, and that there's nothing tangled. So yeah, cameras are quite important on these boats nowadays. You can also, of course, like kind of dive through the window and look down if you want to just... Yeah, the idea is to here being able to communicate from the pit of the boat to the foredeck in a crewed situation, or solo, to have a very short way. from the foredeck and jump down here and untangle a rope or anything if you're like dropping a sail or something. The essentials are all here. We have kind of all the ropes coming here through a tunnel in the middle of the cockpit. We have winches here, 4 winches. We will install them just basically the morning when we go sailing the first time in a couple of days. Here we have like made some sort of bubble to be able to look forward, and this might be becoming also a steering position with the seat up high. So we're imagining to be kind of up here, and we have a tiller coming here, and then we can look forward and steer from here. Yeah, we have 2 tillers on the bow, one that connects here under the roof and out to here, and the same tiller can also go on deck for an outside steering that you might want to use at a race start or harbor maneuver. We designed this part of the boat first. The idea here was to have a bench here where like 2 people could sit, or I can, a solo sailor, so when I do the Route du Rhum or the Vendée Globe, I can lie down here. If I need to do anything, I can just jump up and be right at the handles or at the ropes, etc. The autopilot will be on here, so that was kind of a wish that came, that evolved from the Vendée Globe. And then we added this big cabin in the back. Well, this needs to be completely enclosed because we need the volume when the boat sits upside down. If we didn't have that, we probably had half a ton more in the keel bar. So even if this is a little bit of weight, it makes the boat lighter overall. And at the same time, we take advantage to have a big living space here with 3 bunks on either side. Place for the onboard reporter, place for the navigator.
We had a big reflection about bunks, about a nav station, to have a proper nav station, because it's always a mix about performance, about the weight you need to carry on, and also about the comfort, if I can say it.
For me, the past 2 months was mainly helping building the boat, installing the systems. How do you live? How do you make your food? Where do you go to the toilet? Where do you store things? The safety setup to make it a kind of a livable boat. And now, for me, it's feeling like, oh, well, now my job is really starting. Now we should make this boat fast.
We kind of divided the light situation. Here dark and here lots of light. So if you want to go for a longer nap, you probably can go here in a bunk. And here we painted everything white. Especially in the Southern Ocean, there you have these gray days, and light is so important there. To have the energy to keep pushing, and therefore the windows are important for that, but also important, of course, to understand what's going on outside. When you're trimming the sail, you can see it right from here. This boat can be used very well for a team because we made a very solid hull and platform. We can push the boat hard. We can also work very well together as a team and live well on the boat. And I think that's quite important. It's also a boat where we can enjoy being in a team at sea. And I'm really looking forward to that, to enjoy being at sea with a bunch of good friends.
You know, I'm as curious as you. I have no idea how the boat will sail. I've been on a simulator, so you know a little bit. So we should see. Once we hoist the sail and we put the foils in the water, we see how it goes.
I mean, super excited. You know, this is, if I think back the last few years, it's kind of been a dream to be launched and to be part of a team like this. Hopefully in about 6 months' time we'll be sailing it around the world.
can't believe it's finally here. The new Emirates Premium Economy. Everyone's been talking about it. This is why it's worth the upgrade.
It starts with your own separate check-in desk in Dubai. You get to take more hand luggage, and you get to choose your favourite seat for free whenever you like. Thank you. And here it is, the new Emirates Premium Economy. Welcome drinks. Thank you. Everything feels just more luxurious. You get all this extra space and comfort. Soft leather seats, leg rests. You can really put your feet up. One day, all airlines will have seats like this.
That's the little one settled. We'll have a glass of Chandon sparkling wine, please.
There's always complimentary drinks on Emirates. But on Premium Economy, there's some special wines you don't get in economy class. Cheers. You can check the list online or in the Emirates app before you fly.
If you're wondering what's on the menu, well, in Premium Economy, you get generous servings of regional meals with an appetizer, dessert, and there's extra snacks on longer flights. You get China tableware and silverware wrapped in linen. They give you so much. And look at the dessert.
She loves the children's meals. Thankfully, on Emirates, there's so much to keep kids entertained. They've got toys and fun packs to take home, and there's loads of children's channels and games on TV. Talking of which, time to choose a movie myself. This is ICE, Emirates in-flight entertainment system. The TV is one of the largest in the skies. The picture's great. They've got thousands of channels to choose from. You get all the best movies from around the world, your favorite TV shows, documentaries. You can even learn a new language. And there's lots of music too.
No need to miss the match. Check it out. Live sports. They've got all the big tournaments. It's no wonder Emirates have won lots of awards for their entertainment. You can even create a playlist in the app before you fly and sync it to your screen. All ready to press play. Oh, and there's Wi-Fi too, if you don't feel like watching TV.
What an amazing flight. The cabin crew make you feel really spoiled. It's everything you'd expect from Emirates. Go on, treat yourself. It's a little more, but so worth it.
The most possible, no one foul. I never thought skating SLS qualifier wouldn't make me skate the whole season SLS because I didn't make the top 3, but I still getting wildcards and be able to skate all the stops. For me, my favorite stop was Salt Lake City because there was a lot of Brazilian fans and they were bringing a lot of energy for me, and skating my first SLS with the pro was like the best feeling. I was really hyped to be on the SLS, on my first SLS. I was a little bit nervous, but at the same time, I did not expect that would be like by the top with the best skaters. Seeing my name on top 7 got me so hyped, and at the same time, less nervous to skate the Super Crown, and it just got me more motivated to keep skating. What I like to do when I'm not skating is like hang out with my friends and watching movies, watching shows, or playing games. I play on my phone. Me and my brother play pool on the phone, so we both stay for like hours playing with each other, like laughing. I miss him a lot, so it makes me happier to like talking to him. I learned this year at SLS that is more than just skating. It's about to meet new people, talk to the fans, and seeing people like my age or older than me like asking for autograph. It just makes me remember like when I was just getting started, and then watching P-Rod or Luan And when I first met him, it was just like so hyped, and I seen like those kids like really hyped to like see me and getting autograph. It's just like, it just makes me happy. I'm super excited for the next SLS. Now I'm focusing on my part, but after it gets done, I'm gonna keep practicing and learn new tricks and maybe bring something new.
August 27, 1883. One of the world's most devastating explosions as the island volcano Krakatoa erupts in the South Pacific. The resulting tidal waves in Indonesia's Sunda Strait kill some 36,000 people on the islands of Java and Sumatra. 1908.
We have the opportunity to move not only toward the rich society and the powerful society, but upward to the great society.
Lyndon Johnson, the first American president from the South to be elected since the Civil War, is born near Stonewall, Texas. Johnson's legacy includes landmark civil rights laws, Medicare and Medicaid, anti-poverty programs, and a tragic escalation of the Vietnam War. 1910. Mother Teresa, the missionary who earned a Nobel Peace Prize for her work on behalf of the poor, is born in present-day Macedonia. 1859. Colonel Edwin Drake drills the first successful oil well in the United States near Titusville, Pennsylvania. 1979. Britain's Lord Louis Mountbatten is killed when his boat explodes off the coast of Ireland. The Irish Republican Army claims responsibility for the blast. And 1967, Brian Epstein, manager of the Beatles, is found dead at his London flat after an overdose of sleeping pills. Epstein, who helped guide the Fab Four to rock and roll stardom, was 32 years old. Today in history, August 27th. Ed Donahue, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,